Welcome back to Money Talk Sports. This is Jonathan Laurent. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's a great thing. Everything, we're winding down the regular season of the NBA. Right now, there's only about 6 games left. So, pretty much at the end of this season, you know, a lot of people is talking about, okay, who's going to be the league MVP? Okay, so I've been watching a lot of ESPN, First Take, Undisputed, and right now it's pretty much a lot of people are saying it's kind of up in the air. Some people are saying Giannis is going to be the MVP. Some people saying it's going to be James Harden, the MVP. And I just wanted to chime in, talk about it today. Now, in regards to the MVP, and a lot of people say it's hands down. Okay, the MVP, you have to say it's got to be James Harden. It's got to be James Harden. Okay, to me, it seems like a lot of commentators, a lot of people who actually have votes, are trying to make a case of there being someone else to even be in the MVP topic, in the MVP race, and so much to the point that they're actually stating that it's even not a contest, that it should be Giannis. Okay, I get it. Giannis, he's having a great year. He pretty much this is actually a coming out year for him. I think he's doing a great job. Him and the Milwaukee Bucks, they're actually coming in. They're the team that's leading right now in wins in the NBA. Okay, and that says a lot. That says a lot. Okay. But you have to understand, right now when you talk about playing in the East versus playing in the West, okay, that is two different things. Right now you have teams, you talk about Orlando Magic, Miami Heat, Detroit, all the teams. You look at how many teams that they're playing to even in the hunt, and don't even have 40 wins. Don't even have 40 wins. Whereas you're looking at the West, you know, if you don't even have 40 wins, you're not even in conversation. Okay? So right now you have OKC, Oklahoma City Thunders, San Antonio Spurs. They're at the bottom of the West, which is by design, because as I talked about on the last subject that I talked about, I felt like a lot of those strong contenders would actually go down to the 7th and the 8th spot, because they were actually looking to position themselves as far as meeting Denver Nuggets in the playoffs. And not only that, to the extent that I even see that I actually feel even the opportunity of just seeing Golden State in the first round really benefits them. Okay, because to me, you really want to, if you the best time to catch Golden State is really in that first round, because you never know what type of injuries that they're going to be faced with. You don't know whether or not they're going to be tired or not really playing together as a team. So if you're going to really catch them sleeping, they're actually thinking that the first round is going to be the best round to face them, and in that way, that's going to give them their best opportunity to beat Golden State. Okay, now for when you talk about Rockets, they're not even thinking about that. You're talking about James Harden, and we're talking about the MVP race. Okay, so we're talking about James Harden, and we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Okay, so in regards to Giannis, you have to understand. Okay, what he's doing right now is great. Okay, even when he came on, if you notice, I'm not sure if everyone watched First Take, not First Take, but First Thing First. It was about 2 weeks ago where Steven Jackson came on, and they actually showed the stats. They showed Giannis points per game. They showed Giannis rebounds per game, and then they showed his season versus, and they asked, who is that player? Okay, and then Steven Jackson came out and said, I know who that is. I know who that is, and he stated that's Shaquille O'Neal numbers. Okay, so the thing, what I'm trying to get at is when you talk about Giannis and you talk about what he's doing as far as points per game, rebounds per game, and player efficiency rating, you're talking about something that we've seen before. Okay? Even and you don't even have the dominance of Shaq. Okay, but just the numbers. They're talking about sheer numbers by numbers. In the past, we've seen it before. Okay. Then next thing you know, a lot of people talked about, well, the team who have the most wins, and that the best player on that team automatically win the MVP. It's been done 95% in the past. That's how it's been. Okay. Argument, whatever. If you want to go by that argument, that's fine. But what about that 5%? Okay. What about that 5%? Now that 5% is what I want to talk about. Okay, and the reason why, when you talk about Giannis and you talk about him getting the rebounds, him getting the scoring, and whether or not we've seen that in the past, okay, but what you cannot say is what James Harden is doing this season is something that we have not ever seen in our lifetime. In our lifetime, majority of the commentators, majority of the analysts, we have not seen Wilt play. Okay? Last time when Wilt played, back in the 60s and the 70s, you have to understand what was the level of competition that he was playing against. Okay? So you have to understand, when James Harden is going out there playing 20 games, 18, 20 games without his point guard, CP3, Chris Paul, okay, playing games without Capella, okay, so you have to understand what level of the dominance that James Harden is playing right now, and what level of competition is he playing with. Okay, so I seen one analyst came on the show and stated that what they're doing right now, it's easier to score. So what James Harden is doing is not that impressive. Okay? Well, if you're down low in the paint and you're getting a dunk, that's real easy to do. Okay? But what James Harden is doing, when you're a sharpshooter from distance, when you're hitting shots 28, 32 feet out, on a consistent basis, when you have 7 games with 50 points or above in the same season, that's something we never seen before. Okay, that's why James Harden is the MVP. Okay, when you talk about, and I got something here. When you talk about the best meal that you ever had, if you ever have a great meal, you talk about, oh, you know, I want filet mignon, you know, or I want ratatouille, or I want that linguine pasta, pignon, okay, with a bottle of red wine to go, a rack of lambs, okay? We've seen that before, okay? But when you talk about foods of the gods, when you talk about ambrosia, okay, you've never seen it before. Okay, when I was in school and I was looking up and I was like, what do guys eat? And then it came up the word ambrosia, foods of the god. Something we never seen before. You don't know the ingredients. All you know, it's not fit for kings. It's not fit for men. It's foods of the god. Ambrosia. What James Harden is doing right now is something that we've never seen before in our lifetime. Someone who's getting triple doubles with 50 points at the same time. Someone who's playing this season, going over 30 games, consecutive games, scoring 30 points and above. Someone having over 7 games, hitting 50 points or above. Playing Golden State. Beating Golden State 3 out of 4 games this season. Taking Golden State to overtime. Okay? When you talk about value wins, okay? Because I know when you talk about, like, in college, they have the Heisman moment, okay? And And you talk about, okay, and for the MVP, what is your MVP moment? Man, I can go to San Antonio when they played Houston Rockets. James Harden coming out and hitting 60 plus just to make sure that they're solidifying that win. Okay? When you talk about Houston Rockets versus Golden State without Chris Paul going into overtime, James Harden with the ball, and you see not only just 4 players, you see 4 transcendent players. You see Kevin Durant. You see Steph Curry. You see Klay Thompson all running at him. Transcendent players running at James Harden. What is your MVP moment? Okay, so when you talk about Giannis, when Giannis played the head-to-head against the Rockets, I get it. I know a lot of people say, well, the Rockets, the Milwaukee Bucks, they beat the Rockets twice. Well, the last time they played, it was a close game. They beat, Milwaukee Bucks beat Houston Rockets. And Giannis had 19 points. Okay, so you have to say, I understand the team who have the most wins in the NBA, but having most wins in the NBA and being third in the West, right now you have to understand what James Harden is doing is something we've never seen before. The level of dominance that he's playing with right now is something that we've never seen before. Okay, so nothing to take away from Giannis. Giannis is having a great season, and if they continue to win, hopefully they meet whoever that comes out the West in the finals, and he'll have an opportunity to be a Finals MVP. But as it stands right now, when you talk about MVP of the league, MVP of the season, it got to be James Harden. Back when I talked about James Harden sending an NBA message back in January, there was no other player. You couldn't find another player at that time that was even in the same conversation. That was in January. Right now, we're in April, ready to finish off the regular season. And James Harden, not only did he continue, but he continued the level of dominance that he's been playing since then. And still, right now, he's showing why he's a true MVP. I know a lot of people are even bringing it up about as far as, okay, well, Giannis, he plays on both sides of the ball. He plays both offense and defense. Okay, if you want to give Giannis Defensive Player of the Year, go ahead and do that. Okay, but when you talk about offense, you talk about how is your team construct, what is the plans of your team, and what is your organization, how do they do as far as playing offense or defense to secure wins and actually competing in this league? What are their plans? You cannot say, okay, well, because they're playing, they don't play that much defense. Then if that was the case, then you might as well say at the beginning of the season, James Harden cannot be the MVP. If that's your argument. Okay, but you have to understand, there are some teams, and everybody knows the saying that having a great offense is the great defense. If you look at New England Patriots, their defense is because they play great offense. They limit the other team's opponent coming on the field. They manage the time playing on the court. Having a great offense is your defense. When you look at Peyton Manning's offense, whenever they played, they was a great offense. They managed to manage the clock. They stayed on the field and kept the other team opponent, their offense, off the field at the same time. And I understand you're saying, well, basketball is different. You have the same team. Well, it is different. But when you have James Harden managing the clock, keeping the ball in his hands, limiting turnovers, playing, if you notice, his turnovers are down from the past years, taking high percentage shots, great offense. Keeping it out of the opponent's hands. The longer they have it in James Harden's hand, the less shots that they have for the opponent, for the opposing team. Great defense by design. Okay, so I just wanted to come out, okay, because I know a lot of people talking about the Heisman, the MVP. And it seems like every year people want, and analysts want to talk about and want to make an argument why some other players should be the MVP, and they just want to give it away to somebody. Okay? If you want to give it away, that's fine. Just say that. But don't try to make an argument and say that another player should receive an MVP over James Harden after this year. After this season. This is a season where you see James Harden playing at a level that we have not seen played on this level. Understand, when you look at James Harden, you say the last time you see somebody score like this was back to the Wilt Chamberlain. Guess what? We did not see Wilt Chamberlain play. The level of competition that Wilt Chamberlain faced was not even in the same conversation to the level of competition that James Harden is facing today. Okay, so I just want to thank everybody for chiming in. Money Talk Sports. Okay, so thanks everybody again. Have a great day. Jonathan Laurent.